through the para.
Okay. So I'm reading each sentence and then we'll discuss it if necessary. There is a minor pragmatic use of exclusive concentration on the surface, which may also give us an indication in spite of its temporary character. Okay. So there is the exclusive concentration in the physical world is what we normally understand by concentration. When you concentrate on something, you can achieve it and understand it more easily. But this is a temporary exclusive concentration, whereas a spiritual concentration is more permanent, okay? And that is ignorance. The special exclusive concentration, spiritual exclusive concentration, is what we understand by ignorance, because you have purposely focused on that which is temporary and you have forgotten that which is permanent. Okay, you have forgotten about your soul. You knew it at the highest level, but when there is a descent from the highest to the lowest, there is an exclusive concentration and you have forgotten that you are the soul and you think that you are the body mind life. And it takes a long time, many, many lives to get rid of this exclusive concentration and have inclusive concentration, understanding that you are everything in the physical world. Okay, so he is talking about the temporary exclusive concentration. So you can define ignorance as temporary exclusive concentration. Concentration only on a few things. And this is very temporary. You can easily get out of it. Okay? But you can't get out of the spiritual exclusive concentration, which is much more lasting. It lasts for years and years and years, even lives. So that is but it is not usefulness. Without concentration, you will not succeed much in life. You need to have the power of concentration. Those who don't have the power of concentration are distracted and their mind is going here and there and the vital also is going here and there, constantly roaming about. So that's what he's saying. Pragmatic, very useful faculty to have, concentration. So I'm reading the first sentence once again. There is a minor pragmatic use of exclusive concentration on the surface, which may also give us an indication in spite of its temporary character. He's explaining now that the temporary concentration, exclusive concentration, can be used as an image for the permanent exclusive concentration. Permanent relatively. Okay. The superficial man, that is all of us, okay, we are in the normal level 1. The superficial man, living from moment to moment, plays, as it were, several parts in his present life, and while he is busy with each part, he is capable of an exclusive concentration, an absorption in it, by which he forgets the rest of himself, puts it behind him for the moment, is to that extent self-oblivious. So what does Srimba mean by he's saying the same thing but in very sophisticated language that I say. Okay, I use the image of the motor mechanic. Okay, so he's concentrating and he forgets completely. So now I'll give you what he means by several parts of his present life. He gets up in the morning and he meets his children and his wife. Okay, so he knows he's a family man. So he has absolutely no idea of what's going to happen in his work field. Okay, so he gets up in the morning, has breakfast. He knows he's a family man. He knows he has got 2 children. He knows his wife is there preparing breakfast. There is several parts of his present life. He is a family man. That's a part he's playing right now. Then come 9 or 10 or 8:30 or 8 o'clock even for us, you go to the work area. Okay. Now you have forgotten about your family, your children and your wife, and you are concentrating on the work to be done. So that he is playing that part. Then after the work is over at 5 o'clock, okay, he goes and plays badminton. So now he is a player. So this is what he's saying. Sridhar is saying he plays several parts in his present life. Okay, he becomes a family man, the worker, the player, and finally he studies a little at night. Okay, so then he is a scholar. So this is what Sridhar means by several parts in his present life. So, okay, and while he is busy with each part, he is capable of an exclusive concentration and absorption in it. When he is doing each work, he is concentrated only on that work. Okay, so by which he forgets the rest of himself, puts it behind him for the moment, is to that extent self-oblivious. The example given makes it very clear what he's saying. Okay, without that example, it's a little difficult to understand what he means by several parts of his present life. Then the man is for the moment the actor, the poet, the soldier, or whatever else he may have been constituted and formed into by some peculiar and characteristic action of his force of being, his tapas. Okay? Tapas is the concentration, as we have already said, and so his concentration at different times of the day, at different places and departments, he uses that tapas for different identifications. His past conscious energy and by the action which develops from it. Also, this capacity of concentration, his tapas, a lot of his old lives, okay, his past lives have contributed to it. He has developed this capacity from the past. That's what Sridhar is saying. Not only is he apt to deliver, just 1 second. Not only is he apt to deliver himself up to this exclusive concentration in a part of himself for the time being, but his success in the action very largely depends on the completeness with which he can thus put aside the rest of himself and live only on his immediate work. That's exactly what he said. The concentration is a tremendous capacity, and that will allow you to be successful in your work. If you are not concentrated in your work and you're going here and there and your mind is roaming about, you will not be able to do the work. That's what Sridhar is saying. Yet, all the time, we can see there is a whole man who is really doing the action and not merely this particular part of him. Okay? So, he's there. Some of the things, when he's repairing the motorcycle, as I said, the memory of the family is put into the background. His memory of that he is going to be a scholar at night is put into the background. He's playing in the evening some game is also put into the background. That's what Sridhar is saying. Okay. What he does, the way he does it, the elements he brings into it, the stamp he gives to his work depends on his whole character, mind, information, genius, all that the past of him has made him. Naturally, because what capacity has he got to make his mind concentrated? It comes from past lives. Okay? So, very clearly he's saying what he does, the way he does it, the elements he brings into it, the stamp he gives to his work, depends on his whole character, mind, formation, genius. All that the past of him has done made him. And not his past in this life only, but in other lives. And again, not only his past, but the past, the present, and the predestined future, both of himself and the world around him. Now, this is what we found very, very interesting. So he's saying that his capacity to concentrate is molded by his past lives, but also the environment in which he lives. Okay, and then we'll talk about the future next. But the environment in which you live is very important. With whom are you associating? Okay? That's the whole idea of satsang. Okay? They say mix with holy men, go to these lectures where there are a lot of spiritual discourses, and it will help you. So the environment definitely helps you to develop. The difference can be very clearly seen the influence of the environment in a city and in a village. Okay? In a village, the life is very simple and straight and forward. Okay? It's usually pretty honest. Very rarely is it that you are exposed to some dirty tricks. Very normally. But in the city, you are exposed to all sorts of influences. People are there, good, bad, criminals, whatnot. And that affects you. These have also been tested out in with mice, in sociological experience. Sociology has made an interesting experiment. They put one or two rats in a small place, okay, in a cage, and give food. Then there's no problem. Each rat eats the food. But with the same quantity of food, when you put 20, 25, 30 rats in that same restricted area, then stealing begins. Okay? So the environment is having an effect on the behavior of the constituents. So exactly in the same way, the number of criminals that the city will breed is much more than the number of criminals in a village. So that's exactly what Selva is saying. First of all, your past has influenced you, then your environment is influencing you. Now he's saying the future also influences you. That also is very easy to understand because the predestined future, both of himself and the world around him, are the determinants of his work. What he's going to do today is what he has to do. So, for instance, okay, you want to travel, you have to go to America. Now that's the future. It is not the present. I know in 1 week's time I have to go to the. So I apply for a visa. That is the present. So when your present behavior is influenced by the future, it's very easy to understand. So that's what he's saying. So all what you are doing is influenced by your past, by your environment, and by what you intend to do in the future. And the world around him are the determinants of his work. So, in other words, you think that you have a free will, but you are really nothing. You have been molded by your past, and that's a very interesting principle because there are many people who blame the others for their misery or their good fortune or whatever. Oh, I succeeded because he helped me. I became miserable. I lost my job because of that fellow. This is all totally wrong. You are the maker of your own destiny. So that is one part. But at the other side, there is also the past has made you. When you are ignorant, okay, then the past, the present, and the future and the environment are all molding you. You are not conscious of it. But at the time when you become conscious, then you see that all that has been done is only you are responsible solely for that. Although the molding influences have been different. The past has molded you, the environment has molded you, and even the future, okay, it has influenced you. The present actor, poet, or soldier in him, now he is talking of the normal man. In him is only a separative determination of his tapas. Okay? It is his force of being. He's talking of three things. He's talking of an actor, poet, and soldier, of one man. One man is a soldier, and one man is a poet, and one man is an actor. But I discussed the same man in different parts of his life. Okay? He's slightly different what he's saying. It's only a separative determination of his tapas. The tapas is the same for everybody. It takes a different form in each human being. It is his force of being organized for a particular kind of action of its energy, a separative movement of tapas, which is able, again there is a parenthetical phrase, which is able, I read out without the parenthetical phrase. Okay? So it is his force of being tapas, organized for a particular kind of action of its energy, a separative movement of tapas, which is able to absorb itself in that particular working to the temporary self-oblivion of the rest of itself. even though that rest is present all the time at the back of his consciousness and in the work itself. Okay, so now I'll read the parenthetical phrase. And this ability is not a weakness, a deficiency, but a great power of the consciousness. So Srendra is talking about the power to concentrate. So this is not a weakness. Although from the spiritual point of view, exclusive concentration has got its consequences, which are harmful to the individual. When it becomes permanent, you have forgotten that you are the soul. So this ability is not a weakness. Concentration is not a weakness. It's a power, a great power of the consciousness. Okay? To absorb itself in a particular locality, temporary self-oblivion of the rest of itself. Okay? Sri Aurobindo had so much of this concentration. I'll tell you what happened in Baroda. The servant came and put his dinner on the table and went away. And Sri Aurobindo was going on studying books. He used to order only trunk loads of books in Baroda. Sanskrit, religious literature, all sorts of things he used to get. Okay? He was learning Bengali also. There was tremendous scholastic occupations. Then after 2 hours, when the servant comes back and sees that he has not touched even the dinner, so that is what Sri Aurobindo is talking about, concentration and exclusive concentration. Then when he told him, he quickly, when the servant told him that you have not touched your dinner, he said, yes, I will eat. And he quickly ate and went back to his studies again. Okay, so there is an incident which is mentioned in one of the in Baroda. Okay, it was mentioned, I think, by his Bengali teacher who was there in Baroda with him. So this is concentration, and it's not a weakness. It's a great power. This active self-oblivion of the man in his work and the part he plays differs from the other, the deeper self-oblivion, in that the wall of separation is less phenomenally and not at all enduringly complete. Okay. The separation is not at all enduringly complete. The mind can dissolve its concentration and go back from its work at any time to the consciousness of the larger self, of which this is a partial action. Okay? He's concentrating, he's comparing the superficial temporary concentration, which is exclusive concentration, and the spiritual permanent separation of consciousness, which is much more lasting. Okay? That's what. The superficial or apparent man cannot so go back at will to the real man within him. So he is now contrasting that. The normal man, his concentration is very superficial, and he is not able to get back to his real soul. That takes a long time. He can only do it to some extent abnormally or supernormally in exceptional conditions of his mentality, or more permanently and completely as the fruit of a long and arduous self-training, self-deepening, self-heightening, self-expansion. This is typical Sri Aurobindo. The others want only heightening. They want to go to the spiritual levels of consciousness. But Sri Aurobindo is saying self-deepening into the intraconscious and self-expansion, even into the physical world. Okay? So the comparison is clear, I hope. The exclusive concentration at a spiritual level is very permanent, and the normal man cannot cancel that exclusive concentration. But the normal man, whose concentration is very superficial in this sense that it is short. It may last 1 or 2 hours only, and he can easily get back to what he has forgotten, his family, his game, his studies. Okay? That's what Sri Aurobindo is compared. But then it helps to understand the phenomenon of ignorance. Okay? So, although it's a great power in the normal life, concentration, it is a curse, you can say, in the spiritual life. The exclusive concentration has become a curse. You have forgotten who you are. Okay? That's what he's saying. Still, that's what Sri is saying. It's not a weakness. Still, he can go back. Okay. How? With a long and arduous self-training, self-deepening, self-heightening, self-expansion. One word for this long phrase, yoga. Okay. Long and arduous self-training, sometimes going into lives, not days or months, okay, or even years. Self-heightening and self-expansion. This is typical Swayambhu. He wants all. Some people want only self-heightening, the path of knowledge. Self-deepening, the path of bhakti. But he also wants self-expansion, even worldly knowledge, that also he wants. Still, he can go back. So, although the man is in ignorance, he can go back by this method of yoga. Therefore, the difference is phenomenal only, not essential. Everybody can get back to his real being, which is the soul or the self. Not essential. It is, in essence, in both cases, the same movement of exclusive concentration, of absorption in a particular aspect of himself, action, movement of force, though with different circumstances and another manner of working. So he has compared concentration in the normal life to concentration in the spiritual life. So concentration, but you have to add the word exclusive concentration, then Swayambhu's comparison becomes very clear. Okay? Very interesting para. And we have discussed how the past influences you, the past molds you, the environment also molds you, and also your future also has got a very clear role to play. So, now we can go to the next one.
Rangada, I have a question.
Go ahead, tell me.
So here Sri Aurobindo mentioned the environment and also what is that? So what is the relation between the swabhava, the person's swabhava, and environment?
So swabhava is permanent. It is fixed at the time of the creation of the soul. Na? At the highest level, each man is given a swabhava. Okay. The behavior in the physical world can be molded by the environment. But your swabhava will not change.
So the swabhava of the soul does not change throughout, through many lives?
Yes, it is fixed right at the beginning of your existence. But your ordinary normal behavior, superficial behavior can change. Okay, it can change. If you are in a criminal atmosphere, chances are, if you are a normal person, you can become a criminal. And if you are in a good condition, it will also help you. Okay, but ultimately, it's your soul that decides what is to be done. But all experiences are available to the embodied being, if you want. Okay, the body-mind life gets affected by the environment. Body-mind life gets affected by the environment. But the more when your soul is in ignorance, it is identified with the body-mind life. So that's a field of experience. It wants experience. It wants good experience, bad experience. Then it understands the nature of existence. Okay, so you need all sorts of experiences, not only good or not only bad. You need all sorts mixed. So then you understand the nature of existence. So that is why the soul agrees first to whatever the outer being is doing. Then when it realizes that it has a choice, it starts saying it chooses. So at that time, the environment will not be able to affect you, or you don't allow the environment to affect you. That is samatha. When you don't allow the environment to affect you, that is samatha. You are absolutely untouched. Okay? As the Gita says, bahya sparsha. The outward touches, the outward physical touches, the outward vital touches, and the outward mental thoughts. They all come from outside, but they leave you absolutely exactly the same as you were earlier. It does not change you at all. The image given in the Gita is the river that goes into the sea. Okay, the sea does not change. The river is only a very small effect on it, superficially. Then it mixes and becomes a sea. That is samatha. So your question was a very interesting one. How far does the environment really change you? It doesn't change your inner being. It's a field of experience, and the outer being gets affected by the environment. And the past life is something which is helping you to develop yourself. And that also, that's why they say that the law of karma, okay, whatever you have done will affect your present. And what you are doing at present will affect your future. So, but that is very useful to you and you learn from it. The same also for the environment. Although it is only changing your outer nature, still it helps you. Okay, it does help you to grow. You see, have different experiences, and there's a growth of consciousness. Okay. So,
Rangada, then the swabhava of the soul, that doesn't change in the previous life and this life. Does the one soul has the different swabhava in the previous life and this life?
I don't think so. I don't think it changes. But it
Okay.
development. The swabhava is first is a potentiality in you. And then it goes on developing through many lives. It becomes more just like the seed is producing the tree. You can say that the swabhava is the seed.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Rangada.
Okay. We read the next one. We have got time.
Ragana, can I ask one thing?
Yes, yes.
Swabhava means the nature of the soul, no?
Yes.
Swabhava is the nature. That is, it means is it
Pardon? Swabhava is nature of the soul. Correct. Then
for Swabhava?
your internet is.
No, these gradations are there. Is it Sattvic, Rajasic, or Tamasic?
No, that belongs to the lower nature.
Okay.
That is not the Swabhava. The Swabhava is. When do you realize your Swabhava? This Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic is at the lowest level, at level 1. In level 2, you are already Triguna-atita. They have gone beyond the 3 gunas. The 3 gunas are the properties of the Prakriti, the lower Prakriti. The higher Prakriti does not have Triguna, it is Triguna-atita. That's a superficial being.
So this Swabhava is, how can we describe it then?
It is the nature of the soul.
That is level 3. It is
nature of the soul. Nature of the soul, not nature of the body, mind, life. The nature of the body, mind, life is 3 gunas.
okay.
But when you are
And soul's nature is that is level 2 or level 3.
Okay, I'll explain to you what is soul nature. Okay, the word nature is confusing you. Yes. Soul nature is divine in essence. But the nature of the body, mind, life is not divine at all. It is almost undivine. It is in the field of Triguna-atita, 3 gunas. Okay? And in the spiritual plane, when you go, then. But divine nature is not one single. Don't make a mistake. The divine nature can be in so many different fields. I usually give the example of mother and childbirth. Both are divine, but are their outer natures the same? Or the nature of the soul also the same? Mother was attracted to painting, and so that's an aesthetic aspect that was developed. And that also in painting and music. But in Sri Lanka, painting and music was not there, only in literature and poetry. Okay? So you
Yes.
follow the difference. Both are divine
Yes.
essence.
Yes.
So
Yes.
nature of the soul is divine in essence. But that nature goes on changing. It's not that it's the same for everybody.
Yes. 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 I got by the example. It is clear now.
Now it is clear, Kiran?
Yes. 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 It is clear.
The word nature is confusing you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Rangana.
That's
Yes.
why in the Gita it says,
Rangana,
yeah, para prakriti and para prakriti. Yes, Archana.
Rangana, can you? I was asking a question next to that. So there is a stage in which you uh, completely surrender after
Yes.
your Swabhava and Swadharma you have discovered and you have
That's
lived that.
right.
So ultimately, it comes that
Yes.
you. That means that is the third stage. You can
That,
say
that is the
third stage. I mean, like
yes. That's right.
in a way, Swabhava and Swadharma will be of the second stage. Maybe
Yes.
when we are connected with our soul
Quite right.
and Ragat, and that means my soul, the Swabhava of my soul will not change as the lives change because I have come to express or to manifest some particular thing.
Yes, that's right.
That is what I
Yeah,
was a bit confused whether it changes or doesn't change. But then when you said that, I think logically it seems to be quite possible. Okay. Thank you. That's what I was.
But Rangana's Swabhava changes, no? See, in past life, in Sri Aurobindo's past life, he was Leonardo da Vinci. There he was a painter, architect, and many other features were there.
yeah, but
So in this life, literature and poetry is prominent. So then soul nature changes.
yeah, these are questions which are, which our mind that creates all these, and it is true. But you also remember one thing. Sridhar said very interestingly that why do you have so many lives? Because in one life you have to, the swabhava of the soul is not exclusive. Okay? It is divine. And as I said, the divine harmony is like an orchestra. So there are 100 instruments all playing at the same time. Okay, but the orchestra is one. Okay, it's producing harmony. So your soul has to develop by development of different experiences. So in one life you are a soldier. So what do you get? You get the capacity of bravery, okay, and adventure. Next life you are an architect or you are an artist. What do you get? You develop the aesthetic aspect of yourself. So there are different aspects to the Swabhava. It's not that Swabhava is only one.
Okay.
Yeah, you get different aspects to the Swabhava. The more you are exposed to the Swabhava, the different aspects, the more you develop.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, these are here to, they can lead you into all sorts of questions. And the questions are valid, of course, at the mental level. But we shouldn't get confused also.
So in Savitri, we see many different things. No, he has explained. He uses many different words also. Some words are related to engineering, some architectural, some of the army battalion march, and all such words are there.
And that's Savitri. We'll discuss that later on.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
No, it is related to Swabhava, I am saying, because many other aspects he has included in it, no? It reflects his different aspects.
Yeah, and the different aspects, each aspect also has got the permanent aspect is aesthetics. Okay? Aesthetic. Then now that aesthetic can be in any field. It can be in painting, it can be in sculpture, it can be in even architecture. Okay. So
Okay.
it's not there is an outer aspect and there is an inner aspect. The Swabhava is always the inner aspect. And it gets more and more experience and more maturity as it goes on developing through various activities. Okay.
Okay.
Sri says that why is so many lives? Because in one life you get one, and the essence of that is retained in the soul. The essence of that, and the essence is always divine. Okay.
Okay, Rangana.
In a way, Rangada, in a way we can say like as a housewife also, I can develop my swabhava. Suppose it is of Shudra or servility. As a
Yes.
doctor also, I can be express, develop that swabhava of mine. As
Yes.
a, what else you can say, as any other job, as a teacher maybe. So particularly swabhava can be developed, you can use your swabhava in any profession. Profession
Absolutely.
is not direct, right?
Absolutely. You're quite right.
I
See,
wanted to, yeah.
I'll give you an interesting example. We had a Prabhat Sanyal. Prabhat Sanyal was a doctor who was called to treat Sri Lanka in 1950. Okay? And that used to be a French lady, a nurse, who used to be our teacher for French and biology. Okay? Her name was Michelle Lipsa. I think you've seen her maybe. She passed away some time ago. And she told me once,
I've seen it.
yeah, you've seen her, no? So she
Yeah,
told
I've seen it. I attended, that was the first funeral I attended in ashram. There.
Okay. And she told me that Sanyal was so particular. She said that when he used to cut the flesh, he used to consider it something sacred. And when he used to stitch after the operation, he used to stitch the body, the skin area. He would take care not to leave any trace after the stitches are cut. The skin would be absolutely normal. He was so careful. So that's an aesthetic aspect in being a doctor. So what Archana said is absolutely correct. Any profession, you can develop it's not the profession, it's the outermost thing. But you can develop these capacities of the Swabhava through any profession, of course. And that is the whole thing. That's why we have the caste system. You can be a Brahmin, you can be a Kshatriya, you can be a Vaishya, you can also be a Shudra. And you can reach the divine through all these. These are the outermost things. Okay? We have also got experience. We have also got examples of all this. Okay? Brahman Maharshi was probably a Brahmin. Srimda was a Vaishya. Okay? And Sri Krishna and Buddha and Rama were Kshatriyas. And they all got divine knowledge. So it doesn't depend on the outermost thing. So that's what Rachana meant by any profession, any field of activity certainly will help if it's done in the right way. It can develop the Swabhava. The Swabhava is not something fixed. It's essentially divine. Okay, so I think we have got 2 minutes left. So I welcome these questions because it clarifies my own thinking also. So, and we all benefit from these questions. So it can be very, very useful. Okay? And what I say sometimes can be wrong also. So if I find that it is wrong, next time I'll correct myself. So they're very interesting discussions. It's very profitable. So anyway, so today is already 8:38. We have got only 2 minutes. So we'll read this next. Tomorrow itself we'll read this power of exclusive concentration. 609. The whole question was raised by Sunki about the Swabhava and linked to the environment. So the very interesting question.
Thank you for the old discussion. It's very interesting.
We all benefited, I hope. Okay. So, au revoir, everybody.
Guru
Thank you,
Varangada,
Ranga.
thank you.
Thank you, Rangada.
Have a nice day.
Merci beaucoup.